Hey good people, welcome back to Beauty and the Frizz. My name is Cara. Whether you're new or returning, thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out with me for another day of FRIZZMAS. Today I am going to be swatching and trying on the Lisa Eldridge Eyeshadow Palette in Cinnabar. So if you want to just see the swatches and chit chat while I do a look, keep watching this video and let me know what you think. And if makeup is your therapy and your love, if it makes you happy and you want to hang out with someone that feels the same way, definitely consider joining the community. I'd love to have you back. All right, let's get started. All right, you guys, most of you are familiar with Lisa Eldridge. She is someone that is newer to me, and it all started when everyone was going crazy over her lipsticks, which was last year. I know that wasn't her first release, but that's the first time I heard of Lisa Eldridge, and I have been keeping my eye out for her releases ever since because she doesn't have them very often. So her newest release were these eyeshadow palettes. They are a luxury item for sure. They are $68 a piece, and she came out with 5 or 6 of them. I can't remember, but I already did my video on Sorcery, which was this like green and silver and blue palette. It's got a little gold in it. And today I'm going to do Cinnabar. If you want to see my review and thoughts about Sorcery, I will have this video linked, but today we are going to focus on Cinnabar. Now in Cinnabar, she has a few different formulas. There's the Seamless Matte, which is the traditional powder formula that I still think feels pretty creamy. She has a metallic velvet matte, which is supposed to be like the cream to powder. And then she has the top coat. Those are the finishes that are in the Cinnabar palette. This palette has a shelf life of 24 months and it's made in Italy. So here's Cinnabar up close. I know a lot of people weren't really wowed by this one because it is a very common color story, but it is a color story that I do enjoy, especially for everyday looks. So I am excited to get into this. So these palettes are customizable. She does sell these shadows as singles. They are $16 a piece. You can take a pen and pop out the singles and switch them around. The only issue is right now she does not have the component available to buy individually, like if you wanted to just create your own palette from scratch, but she is going to have these available soon. I'm not sure when. All right, let's go ahead and look at the swatches of the Cinnabar palette. So we have Raw Sienna, which is a seamless matte, Bronzite, which is a metallic, Fired Earth, which is a seamless matte, Lost Summer is a metallic, Deep Ochre is a velvet matte, and then Ritual is the top coat. So here are the swatches of the Cinnabar palette. I am really interested in the metallics. The top coat is just that. You can barely see it swatched on my arm, and I'm excited to play with the mattes as well. But again, this color story is not something that we haven't seen before, so just keep that in mind if you are interested in this palette. All right, so I'm just gonna get into a look with this palette, but I think what's gonna be more important here is to see what other palettes that I have in my collection that offer a similar color story, probably for a better price. So let's get into that now. I am going to tell you what I have on my face. I'm wearing the Lisa Eldridge Seamless Skin Foundation. I wear number 21. I have on my Gucci bronzer, my Dior concealer with my Tatcha loose powder. For my blush, I am wearing the Dior Galactic Red from the holiday collection, which I really like this shade a lot. It is extremely pigmented, so you have to be careful. This will last me a very long time. And for lipstick, I have on none other than Velvet Cinnabar from Lisa Eldridge, of course. And I think that's it. Yes, that's all I have on my face. So we're gonna go ahead and get into this look. Starting with the lightest shade, Raw Sienna, on a Bristles Beauty EO1 DL brush. I'm just gonna take this in the transition area. This color is almost the color of my skin tone, so you could hardly see it when I swatched it, but I like that it's adding like some pigment back to my eyelids after putting on the primer. Yeah, you can barely see this on me. I'm just building this up a bit to see if you can see it, but it's really tough. So I am gonna take the same brush. I'm gonna go ahead and take the same brush into Deep Ochre. And if you look at Deep Ochre right here, it is a shade. If you look at Deep Ochre right here, and then like how it's swatched right here, I think this is gonna be like more of the perfect transition shade. And this one is the Velvet. So this is gonna remind you a little bit of the Natasha Denona, like cream to powder type shadows if you like those. But honestly, her seamless mattes feel velvety to me as well. So this is perfect. So you can start to see the pigment there. So this is gonna be more of a buildable shade. All right, so I like how this looks. This is like a really good base for the look. I could just put this all over the lid, especially if I'm gonna have a bolder lip color like this, and I would be really satisfied with the look. I'm gonna go now into Fired Earth on a Glam Light blending brush. This one is the Seamless Matte, and let's just take it on the outer corner. Now for a shade as deep as this one, I am glad that this one is buildable, because I hate when I put on too much shadow because sometimes it doesn't blend away easily. This is nice, and it blends in really nicely with the other two shades. I'm just gonna put it on the inner corner here as well, and then we'll put a shimmer in the middle. All right, so that's what we are working with so far. Out of the two shimmers we have, these are our choices for shimmers. I like them both. They're similar, but one looks like it has more red and one is more coppery. And I think I'm gonna go with the coppery one. So that's Bronzite, that's this one here. And then I'm just going to kind of try to blend it into Fired Earth. And I chose to make this kind of smoky, but you definitely don't have to. I do like the way that this looks. Let's just see what happens if it looks any different if we put the top coat on it, Ritual. Let's just see, can we see it? Is it adding anything to the shade? It's adding a little bit of sparkle, but nothing really. This is gonna be a nice inner corner highlight shade. You might be able to see a little bit of the kind of glitter, because this one has some bigger glitter particles in it. So that's what we've got pretty much for the look. I'm gonna take Deep Ochre for the lower lash line, and I'm gonna be using a What's Up Beauty R106 brush. It's a flat shader, but it's gonna be good for the lower lash line. I did get a little bit of fallout from the top coat. And last but not least, I'm gonna go into Ritual using a Morphe lip brush. And I'm just going into this for the inner corner highlight. And this one's not gonna be, I mean, it's bright, but it's not like super striking or anything like that. All right, so here's my look with the Cinnabar palette. Let me know what you think. So I'm gonna finish off this look with liner and mascara, and then I'll be back to let you know my thoughts about this look and the palette along with some comparisons. All right, you guys, I'm back with the finished look. I did use a brown liner from Charlotte Tilbury, and then I used mascara from Charlotte Tilbury as well. It's the Push Up Lashes in the shade Dream Pop. So you can see it's kind of a burgundy color, and you'll see on my lower lashes, because they're not coated all of the way, you can probably see that burgundy shade. I haven't found out the trick for the colored mascara on the outer part of the lashes, but I really liked that color with this look. And as far as the look goes, I like it. I mean, this is a basic look, neutral look. It's not a special look, but it's a look that I really like. I love like bronzy, warm, brown looks, and I think the rest of the look really ties in nicely with it. So I don't have any problems with the look at all, or the quality of the shadows. I don't think that the Lisa Eldridge eyeshadow formula is anything revolutionary, but I do think that it's nice. Is it $68 nice? I would say no. And that was actually what I said about my Sorcery palette, especially with the greens like that and the shimmers. If you do own any indie singles or palettes, you're not going to be blown away by the formula. I do think the mattes are really, really nice though. But again, $68 nice? I would say no. So I did pull out some palettes in my collection that you can get this color story from, and it really wasn't hard to do. I didn't pull out all of my palettes, but just the ones that came to mind in case you do like this color story. Now for some people, this is going to be a great palette to keep in your purse, you know, to travel with, things like that. But I'm not really that person. You know, I don't really take makeup with me anywhere, maybe a lipstick, but that's usually it. And I haven't been having any like after work events where I would need to touch anything up. So I don't know, if that were the case, then maybe. I mean, because it is a small palette. I'm looking at these other palettes that I pulled out, and they're not going to be as convenient, and they may be a bit heavy. We'll see. So let's just go into my comparisons, and the first three are by my girl Tatcha. Excuse me, not the first three, the first four. The first two palettes I have are the Natasha Denona Glam Face palettes in light and dark. Let's see. So this is a palette, and probably more so the dark one than this one, but this is a palette where you can get a really similar look. These have gone on sale, and you'll have a blush and highlighter in there as well. I don't think we get any of the, do we? I think we might get a cream to powder matte. This one might be. Yeah, but I mean, we're getting pretty much the same look, maybe a little less depth, but same vibe. So that's one. Out of the two, the deep palette's gonna be your best bet. And as I'm doing this, I'm feeling like I shouldn't have bought the Cinnabar palette, but I just had to because it was called Cinnabar, and that's part of the problem with marketing. Probably would wear this palette 10 times over this one, but you know, it is what it is. You have the deep blush, you have the two deeper mattes, three deep mattes, and two really, really gorgeous metallics. Now you don't have like the coppery metallics that are in here, but you know what I'm saying? It's the same vibe, same look. I think the closest thing is going to be the Natasha Denona Bronze palette. I mean, this is Cinnabar. Now you don't have the very deep brown matte, but you do have this shade right here, which I think is Deep Dive. Yes. And this is beautiful. It's like a purple brown, a purple. Love this shade so much. That's a cream to powder. Oh my gosh. This is one of my favorite palettes, y'all. This was my first Natasha Denona palette, and I continue to want a fresh one for no reason. But yeah, I think you can pretty much find all of the shades in bronze if you have it. And of course, I have to bring up my girl Biba. Now, my black is loose, so let me just cover the black. I mean, forget about the black, because that's not even what we need to see. You get Cinnabar and more with Biba. You got these cool tones. There's just really no need to buy these repeated shades. So I need to tell myself that. I think I just got caught up in it being Lisa Eldridge. And to be honest with you, the Cinnabar palette wasn't in my first order. I went back and ordered this one. So, you know, it's just one of those things where I just got really excited. But, you know, that's why I think sometimes it's good to watch reviews. And I know I do YouTube, but you know, I don't necessarily look at myself as like a solely review channel. You know, I'm a makeup enthusiast. I really like to have fun with makeup, and I'm having a lot of fun with the makeup that I have. So it's just something for me to think about as I go into next year. You know, I don't need to buy it all, and I didn't buy it all. But even buying a little bit was expensive, especially when you have these shades. But I love my Biba palette. This was on sale at Sephora. It went down to like $64.50, and then it sold out. So hopefully if you wanted it, you were able to grab it, or from the Natasha Denona Black Friday sale. But this is like classic, you know what I mean? Now you're not gonna travel with Biba, you know what I'm saying? But you have these shades. I did pick out 4 other palettes, non-Natasha Denona palettes. I have Supreme Bronze here from Artist Couture, and I really like this palette. The nice thing about Supreme Bronze is that you get warms here, and you get cools. Now some of these shades are not in Cinnabar, but like I'm looking at these two and these two, just illustrating that the shades aren't special. I have my Melt Rust palette, which you know is definitely going to give us all the smoke and grunge and then some. So you know, looking at these shades right here, maybe not this one, but like these two, this one, you know, you've got these coppers. You have a really deep brown here, which this one's probably going to be way deeper than the Lisa Eldridge one, because the Lisa Eldridge one you had to build up, but that can be a benefit. I really like that because it just let me kind of, I don't know the word I'm looking for, but I could really like slowly get the right amount of smokiness versus having too much and then trying to figure out what to do with it. So I love my Rust palette. I also pulled out, and I didn't even look at this ahead of time, so let's see what we think. This is the Essential palette from Vive. So this one's not as coppery. This probably really shouldn't be on the list, but I'll show it anyway. And all of the palettes that I've shown you have great mattes. And I think the mattes are the standout in the Lisa Eldridge palette over the shimmers, but there are other brands that have great mattes as well. So you can create a neutral look. This one isn't gonna have like the red tones like the Cinnabar palette, but you just saw all these other palettes that have the red tones. Shimmers in this palette are so-so. I don't mind them. You definitely need to spray them or use like a glitter glue or something with these. I wouldn't really consider this one a comparison to Cinnabar, but all the other ones, yes. So we're gonna eliminate Vive. Last but not least, I have my Patrick Ta Major Dimension Eyeshadow Palette. Let's take a look at this. And I definitely get the Cinnabar vibes from here. So I have shown you about 4, 5, 6, 7 reasons that I did not need to purchase the Lisa Eldridge palette. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with my Lisa Eldridge palette, but I didn't need to purchase that. I'm gonna be 100% honest. 100%, because I have no reason to tell any lies on this channel. I love the mattes in this palette as well. And I love the gradient of the beiges to kind of like the red tone, and then the browns. The creams in here are great. And I've had my palette. No, I repurchased this one this year because I sold the first one. I was gonna say my creams are holding up well. I haven't had this one that long, so I'm not gonna say that, but I am gonna say I like the palette. These shimmers do leave a little more to be desired, but when I'm thinking about that top coat in the Lisa Eldridge palette, I don't know, I think the top coat is a little better than the Lisa Eldridge ones. It is what it is. So, you know, I just wanna always be honest, because many of us are makeup enthusiasts and we wanna try the new things that are coming out. You know, I'm debating back and forth now about the Pat McGrath, the Star Wars shenanigans, you know what I mean? Like, do I need to try the quints? Do I wanna try the quints? The mothership is out. Which quints do I wanna try? And as I'm filming this, I recognize I need to take that golden one quint off of my list, because I just showed you all these reasons that I don't need it. And I think that even within Pat McGrath, I know this isn't about Pat, but I know some people are trying to figure out what they want to get or if they want to support the collection at all. Pat has a lot of like bronzy gold shades, and you see I do too. So probably need to eliminate the golden one and just maybe stick with the Sith Seduction and maybe those pots. I think those pots are going to probably get the most use for me, because I'm into the one and dones right now. I just think they're so simple and beautiful. I love this look too, but the morning is really only allowing me for one and dones if I wear eyeshadow at all. And that's just what it is right now. But I am hoping that if you were considering any of the Lisa Eldridge palettes, that this video was helpful and that you pay attention to the color stories. You know, is it something that you have already? Because the formula isn't anything to pay $68 for. I'm just letting you know. I might be putting my palette on Macari just because I don't know when I'm gonna use it. I just don't. Because I have all these other palettes, especially that Natasha Denona face palette, the dark one. I love that palette. I love that palette. I would reach for it 10 times over because it's really, really, really good. And I know I have some of these bronzy type shades in singles as well. So that's gonna be it for this video. I do, again, hope that this was helpful. You know, it's fun to play with new makeup, and you know, sometimes you realize that you don't like something or that you really didn't need it. And that's kind of a learning lesson that I'm having right now in this video, but I hope that it will help to shape my decisions in the future with purchases. So with that being said, thank you so much for taking out some of your time and hanging out with me for another day of FRIZZMAS. I hope this was therapy for you. It always is for me. So until I see you again, make sure you are being gentle with yourself, talk to yourself nice, stay safe, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.